All right, y'all, well, here we are with one that, gosh, really doesn't need any introduction. Forgive me while I take a big swig of water. But what we've got here is the classic Smith & Wesson Model 10. If you haven't already, I've got a pretty good video on an older pencil barrel Model 10 that I did. I did it sometime last year or the year before. I'll go ahead and put a link to it down here in the description of this video. Check it out. You know, this one's in quite a bit better shape than that older one. But, yeah, I'm sorry. Every time I look at one of my beautiful firearms, I kind of think, oh, there's a new thing that I saw in it. But, yeah, the Model 10, I mean, it's been around. Well, the Model 10 itself has been around since 1957. That's when it became the Model 10. Now, before that, I think this actually dates back to probably 1899, I believe, which they had the Smith & Wesson, the 38 hand ejector is what they called it. That same revolver came on to become the Smith & Wesson M&P, the military and police, which was a pencil barrel revolver that was used widely in, I believe, in World War I and World War II. For sure World War II to some extent. Maybe World War I. I'm not a Smith expert. Hell, I don't know. So if you want all the details and stuff like that, you can go to Mr. Google and he can tell you all those details and things like that. But what the Model 10 is, it's a K-frame revolver, which means it's you know, we all know that Smith designates different frame sizes for the revolvers. You can have the smallest ones, which are like the J frames, and the popular ones. You have a K frame, you have an L frame, which is in between a J and a K. You have an X frame, which are the big 500 Magnums, and all this other fun stuff. So, yeah. But the Model 10, this gun, the last I heard, they have produced approximately 6 million. More than 6 million different Models 10s over the years, which puts it in the category of being the most popular handgun of the 20th century. That's a lot of them out there, folks. Now, this particular one we're looking at, as you can see, let's go ahead and take a little zoom in here. See this? SSO233 CDC. So that's not the serial number. The serial number is hidden underneath this one. And I believe, I'm wanting to say this is a Model 10-10. I'm wanting to say I looked this one up and I believe it was made in the 80s, if I remember right. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was the 80s. But CDC, most people will agree or tend to sway toward that stands for either California Department of Corrections or Colorado Department of Corrections. So one would logically deduce that this was probably some sort of a prison issue firearm. And you can see their armorer, they decided to just get out their little engraving pen and put these beautiful numbers along the side of it. And I think this one actually has some engraving under the trigger guard too. It says something, it's hard, y'all see it. D-Yard, maybe number 2 or something. Maybe it was D-Yard and this was a revolver that hung in a rack or sat in a rack or something like that was the designation on it. I don't know. It's all speculation. Now, interesting enough, this one, which I don't want to pull the grips on it because this has got the classic Packmeyer, oh, what do they call these? I can't remember what they call them. The Packmeyer, oh, here we go. Maybe they're right here. The grippers, yeah, Packmeyer gripper. Probably been on it since this thing was new or close to new. But interesting enough, this one is actually a curved butt. You know, they've got square butt and they have curved butt. This is a square butt grip, and they have done something, whoever put this grip on originally, they did some filing or something up in here to get it to fit okay. But I've got a set of round grips on order for it. Some of the, some of those imitation ivory ones, I want to see how they look on there. I actually ordered them and they came in and they inadvertently sent me square butt ones. So, but yeah, let's zoom in and we'll take a closer look at it. Again, this doesn't really need a whole lot of introduction on the Model 10s. And you can see this one's got, you know, it's not the worst shaped revolver I ever had. My other one, my pencil barrel one, is in worse shape than this one. But this one's got some signs of wear. See, it says right here, 38 Smith & Wesson special cartridge. We've got some wear along the muzzle. And since this is a duty weapon, you know, it's going to have the fixed, the combat sights is what I like to call them. Which still, though, they do present a pretty nice little sight picture. See that? And of course, it is a 6-round, 38 special. This one doesn't look like it was shot a whole lot. I don't think, and I just showed you it was empty, but I don't think really this one has had the trigger worked on. As a matter of fact, it's a pretty heavy trigger. So my suspicion is it is probably 10 to 12 pound trigger. More than likely, the institution that ordered these probably spec'd a heavy trigger. That was not unusual at all for them to specify like a New York trigger or something along the lines of that, which is a heavier trigger pull than average. Am I going to change it? No. No, I'll just leave it like it is. This one's mostly a queen, you know, a safe queen. But I would say that I would not hesitate to have this sitting on a nightstand or an end table or in a bookcase or something like that as an emergency weapon if you need something. And again, I watched my other video on the pencil barrel Model 10. I think I ramble more about the history of it. I just got this one, and I wanted just to show it to y'all. You know, let's see how much this one weighs. Bring out the scale here. I just shot a video on that little Model 60, so let's tear it again. 17.6 ounces. This is a 500 gram weight. That's how I usually make sure my scale is accurate. 36.6 ounces. Woo, mercy me. How'd y'all like to have that swinging on your belt for 12 hours a day, along with a couple of dump pouches of 38 ammo, some cuffs, baton, pepper spray, everything else that these old school cops and prison guards and stuff like that used to carry all the time. That's a lot of weight. But that's why they have that good, you know, that good Bianchi, Sam Brown belts, things like that to help hold these things up. But so, just wanted to show you today, get you a little quick peek at it. Oh, let me show you this. I don't know if I did this. You might have caught it, but it is a hammer-mounted firing pin. Y'all let me know if you have any questions on it. Again, I do like these old Smith wheel guns in the Model 10. I mean, a guy could spend, you know, hours just sitting here going on and on about the Model 10 history, you know, how they're used in World War I, how they're used in World War II. You know, they first came out, and I think in the 38 long Colt was the first caliber for it. You know, they've just such a huge history on these Model 10s. And like I said, you know, they didn't really become the Model 10 until 1957. 1957 is when Smith went to the numbering system and started calling their guns different number instead of names, numbers instead of names. Now, I do recall now, I think this is actually late 80s, come to think of it. I know, if I remember right, the 1010 and the 10-9 were both late 80s, 87, 88, 89, something along the lines of that. So, yeah, I'm going to guess this is probably late 80s, possibly early 90s. Now, I do know that when they went from the 1010 to the 1011, I guess was the next one, and seeing the way they do the, and I'm sorry I'm going so far off track, I was going to close out, but if you don't want to listen to me ramble, thanks for watching. But anyway, the way they do these 10 numbering systems is that, like, the 1010, which is this one, would be the heavy barrel, is what they call it. I always call it a bull barrel, but a heavy barrel. The 10-9 is the same gun, the same generation, but it has the pencil barrel, or whatever they call a standard barrel or taper barrel, or something like that. I think actually this, which I'm glad it is, this model is a 1010. The 1011s and the 1012, I think, is the first time that Smith went to metal injection molding parts on it. The hammer, the trigger, I'm wanting to say the firing pin, maybe. I can't remember. Some of you historians can jump in here and chime in on that. But yeah, it was the late 90s, I believe, is the first time this one they changed and went to the 1011. And from there on out, they started putting in the MIM parts and the internal locks, of course, in the early 2000s, the Hillary hole, whatever y'all want to call it. But I will say this, I don't personally, you know, I'm in manufacturing. We do a lot of metal manufacturing. MEM parts, metal injection molded parts, y'all, there's nothing wrong with those, to be honest with you. It's a pretty accurate way of making parts, and they can kind of keep the price down to keep these things affordable, and it's strong, you know, so I really don't have any problem with that. But the reason I prefer it not have it is just because of the collector value. So, but that's it, y'all. This is the Model 10 video, the Model 1010 video with the heavy barrel. If you have any questions, you know, drop them down there in the comments. Click that like button. It really helps channels like mine, and subscribe if you haven't already. You guys be safe out there. Have a great day. Thanks.